So you mentioned sleep cycles in your book, The Power of When, which I've talked with you about before. What types of cycles happen at night while we're sleeping? And that's how we will know we'll have a good night's sleep, when we hit these cycles, right?
Well, so there's a couple of ways to think about it. So as an example, in my book, The Power of When, what we look at are these things called chronotype. So chronotypes are genetically predetermined sleep schedules that your body is on. Now, you've heard of them before. Maybe you've been called an early bird, or somebody's called you a night owl before. Those are two of the types. It turns out that there's actually four. And when you discover how to sleep at the right time for your genetics, it's the game changer, because the quality of the sleep just increases dramatically. And here's the best part, is during a time like quarantine, we can play around with our sleep schedule a little bit, right? So if you're a night owl like me, you can stay up until midnight and not worry about sleeping in a little bit more. Or if you're an early bird, you can go to bed early and wake up a little bit earlier. So I am highly recommending for people, take my quiz. If you head over to the website and check out the book and take the quiz, that will tell you what your chronotype is. And it'll also give you one of these sleep schedules, because when you sleep at the right time for your body actually sleeps better.
That is fascinating. So I'm a night owl. My daughter's a night owl. And my husband is what's the other one? A bear?
A bear is in the middle.
Oh, in the middle. And what's the early bird?
So the early bird is called a lion. And middle is called a bear. Evening is called a wolf. And then insomniac is called a dolphin. And so it's fun when you start to think about who's in your house. So for example, in my house, both my wife and I are night owls, and I have two teenagers. And by their very nature, teenagers are night owls. So we're basically the wolf pack over here at our house.
Everybody's going to bed late and sleeping in the morning. And that's, yes. It's opposite in our house. And my husband is lights out. He can't see past 9:30 at night. And then 6 o'clock in the morning, he can't sleep past that time. So we do have different schedules, but my daughter and I have really good hangout time at night. So let me ask you specifically, a lot of drinking is going up. The alcohol consumption is going up during this pandemic time. How does that affect sleep pattern?
So there's two important things to understand about alcohol. So number one, it lowers your immune function. Period. End of story. The data is very consistent on this. So everybody needs to understand that the more alcohol that they bring into their system, the less they're going to be able to fight something like this. So that's number one. Number two, there's a really big difference between going to sleep and passing out. Okay. And so what I tell people all the time is, especially during a time like now when we don't want to be drinking a lot of alcohol, we really need to think through this idea of alcohol consumption. So I'm going to give everybody an easy method that they can utilize and still stay safe. So what a lot of people don't know is it takes the average human body approximately 1 hour to digest one alcoholic beverage. So if you have 1 glass of wine, you would want to drink 1 glass of water, right? Because alcohol is a diuretic. It's going to make you have to go to the bathroom, and you wait 1 hour. If you have 2 glasses of wine, you drink 2 glasses of water and you wait 2 hours. Here's what's interesting when you get past 2 glasses of wine is alcohol doesn't have the same effect that you think it does. So the first 2 glasses, it's relaxing. It may even make you feel sleepy. Once you get to glass 3, you start to get energized. And with men, they can actually get aggressive. So you really need to think through this idea of, hey, it's 3 o'clock and I've got a great bottle of wine in my pantry. Let's all crack it open and have a party. It's really probably not the best idea. I'm not saying don't have 1 glass of wine with the dinner. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you need to be careful about alcohol. And let's talk about caffeine while we're talking about alcohol, because that's kind of the flip side of that equation, right? And so here's the problem with caffeine is it's a stimulant, right? And so what's happening is if you were at work, let's say you had a workplace where they had a coffee station or what have you, you'd go, you fill up your 1 cup, you'd maybe talk to a couple people and you come back. When you're at home, you make the whole pot, right? Oh, yeah. And you don't think about it. And you're like, gosh, I've been sitting forever and I'm so fatigued. I'm going to go grab another cup of coffee. And then you go in, and before you know it, you've doubled or tripled the increase in your caffeine consumption.
Or you grab the boat like I have. This is the boat cup. It's
It's like the steamer.
As big as my head.
Of coffee. Right. Exactly. Yes. Right. And so when you think about that, though, that also increases anxiety. Right. So when you put a stimulant on board, you're going to increase anxiety. Right. We're in an anxious time, guys. Like, let's just be very clear. There's no need to add something that's going to make you more anxious. Right. So really look at limiting your consumption of caffeine. To be clear, you don't want to go cold turkey. Okay. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to get healthy and I'm just going to stop all caffeine, that's a really bad idea. I'll tell you why. Because you're going to get a massive rebound on it. I've had 2 patients end up in the ER, not during COVID, but previously from cold turkeying off caffeine. You bet. It's a strong substance. So you need to be careful. So what oh yeah, absolutely. So what I tell people is, look, let's say you drink 3 cups of coffee a day. Take that last cup and make half of it decaf and half of it regular, and do that for 3 days. And then turn that last cup into complete decaf for 3 days. And just slowly get yourself there, right? Again, we don't need stimulants on board right now, and we certainly don't need any additional anxiety. But people are drinking more caffeine because they're feeling more tired and more fatigued because they're not moving and because they're not sleeping. So a couple of